Welcome to English Challenges, where you're going to learn how to use real-life English naturally and confidently. I'm Tanya, and before we get started, I want to teach you how to use these videos as effectively and efficiently as possible. Okay, if you just sit there and watch me and listen to me, that's lovely, but I'm pretty sure you're here because you want to speak English better. So you gotta speak. After every expression, pause the video and repeat the expression like I did. Listen to my intonation and pronunciation. Imagine yourself using it in real life, like truly visualize that situation. And then write a sentence in the comments so you can practice learning how to use it in the right grammatical structure and context. This is how we take passive learning and turn it into active learning, which will really help you feel progress so much faster. And it's so cool. So here we have a 3-for-1 situation. We have the expressions I'm good, all set, all good. Americans use these to mean like no thanks, I have everything I need. For example, if you're at a restaurant and the server says, would you like another coffee? You're like, oh, I'm good, thanks. So even notice my body language, I'm good, but I'm saying no, which means no thanks, I don't want any more. I'm good, thanks. For all set and all good, I could see this being used like when it's a task. I wouldn't really say that at a restaurant, although you could. If someone said, oh, would you like more coffee? I'm all set, thanks. I'm all set, thanks. So if you're maybe at work and your colleague says, hey, do you need any extra help? I'm available. You're like, oh, I'm all set, thank you, but maybe tomorrow. I'm all good, thanks anyway. So notice here, it's not just I'm good. I typically follow it with thanks, or in the previous example, thanks anyway. So I'm all good, thanks anyway. I'm good, thanks anyway. I'm all set, thank you. All right, all set, ready to go. So they're interchangeable to a certain extent, but when you hear these, when you're watching shows or movies, or if you live in an English-speaking country, don't just pay attention to the phrase. Pay attention to when and how it's used. For example, I could teach you all set, but when you start listening to it in conversation, you notice that it's all set, thanks. So it's followed by a thank you. To be free. So we use this in American English to mean that I'm available. You can also use it as a question. For example, are you free this weekend? So I could say, are you available this weekend? But it just sounds a little more formal. And I'll be honest, I would never say it, especially if it's a casual context. So are you free on Tuesday? Let's go out to dinner. So you could use it as an invitation. Are you free this weekend? Can you help me move? So if you want to ask for a favor. As a response, you could say, yeah, I'm free. What's up? So if someone says, are you free this weekend? Yeah, I'm free, or I'm open. So I'm free, what's up? So that way you follow it with what's up, just asking like, what do you need? But if I say, yeah, I'm free, what do you need? It's not only a little more formal, but it's a little more, not aggressive, but just like, I understand your intention is a favor. So it comes across maybe, which, there's a time and place for that. But if you want to be more polite or softer or just more natural, I would say, what's up? Or how can I help you if you know that it's a favor for someone. And listen to the pronunciation. Are you free this weekend? Are you? Instead of are you free? That formal you. A lot of times Americans reduce you to ya. Are you free? Are you free this week? Are you free right now? Want to grab a coffee? So are ya? Are ya? Instead of you, are you free? Are ya? So it extends a little bit. And it drops a little bit. So are you free? The sound is right here. Instead of are you, are you? Are you free right now? That sucks. This one I use, you know what, I'll be honest, you can probably use it in almost every context. Maybe if it's a very formal or super professional situation. A lot of people don't like to use sucks when their kids around, so it depends on your level of comfort. But I use it all the time. Like, if your friend tells you that they can't go to a party with you, you're like, oh, that sucks. I really wanted you to come. So, oh, that sucks. If it's raining outside and you were about to go out for a run, and you're like, oh man, that sucks. So notice here, this is where listening for context helps you use it. Oh man, that sucks. So listen to how I used it. This is where I want you to pay attention to the context, because learning the expression by itself, whether it's this kind of casual expression or a phrasal verb or an idiom, it's good for a test. But for real life, you want to listen to what words they use before, after, in the middle. So here, oh man, that sucks. And for the American pronunciation, notice that I don't say that. There's no air released at the end of that T. That sucks. That sucks. It just gently touches the top of my mouth. So it gives it that very subtle T. All right? So practice it. Like, oh man, that sucks. Fingers crossed. So we use this a lot to mean I hope it happens or I hope it doesn't happen. And I typically do it by doing the physical, crossing my fingers, but I could even just say it and not have to cross my fingers. So if someone says, oh, I have an interview today, I might say, oh, good luck, fingers crossed. So that means I hope you get it. So the context lets you know what is implied. You could also say, fingers crossed, I hope you get the job. I hope it goes well. Here, I could even say, I hope it goes well, cross my fingers, and it's implied in the conversation. So if you ever see someone do that, it means good luck, I hope so. Conversely, you could use it for the negative. For example, I hope it doesn't rain today, fingers crossed. So then it just reaffirms that you hope it doesn't happen. Tell me about it. Okay, if you don't know how we use this expression and you take it literally, it can be really confusing. Like if you're telling a story and you're talking in American and that person goes, oh yeah, tell me about it. You might think, I am. I am telling you about it right now. But Americans use this expression to show that we agree that maybe we've had the same experience. So if you're talking about, let's say, your morning commute, you're like, oh God, I hate the traffic in the morning. I might say like, oh yeah, tell me about it. So that just means I understand. Maybe I've been stuck in that traffic as well. Spit it out. So if you ever have trouble saying something, maybe, and not in a language context, but maybe you're nervous and you're stumbling through your words, if you're talking an American who's comfortable with you, that they might say, come on, spit it out. I don't mean to spit, literally. It's just an expression that we use to tell someone like, come on already, just say what you need to say. So notice that I said if that person's comfortable with you. I would say if it's someone new or someone I don't know, or it's a very professional relationship, I probably wouldn't use that. But if it's my friend or my family member, then I would feel fine. Like my sister, I'd be like, all right, spit it out. What do you need? It's not rocket science. For some reason, anytime we want to tell someone that something is not that difficult, or maybe you're implying that the person is making a big deal out of something, we always refer to rocket science. So we typically say like, oh, it's not rocket science, just do it. Or it's not rocket science, just Google it, find a tutorial and figure it out. So and notice even my body language, when I'm saying that, there's a little sense of being condescending. So you really want to be mindful of intonation. Like you might mean it that way. To be honest, it's kind of how we use it. But if you don't, then you want to soften up the tone a little bit. And here, listen to the pronunciation. It's not. It's not. So this is linking and blending going on over here. So instead of I wouldn't say it's not rocket science. It sounds robotic, right? So it's not. So the S in it's links to the N sound in not. It's not rocket science. So here it's not rocket, no air release, rocket science. This is so typical of American English. So this is something you want to be mindful of and practice. It'll feel a little weird at first, but now that you know that that's what differentiates the sound you're making from what I'm saying, it'll help you understand and practice even better. Okay, I'm not buying it. So this expression is not used to talk about purchasing things or buying things. It's used to mean I don't believe it. So if you are telling your friend about your relationship problems and you say like, oh, my girlfriend, she's so busy, that's why she doesn't text me, and it's okay, she'll text me eventually. I might say, listen, I'm not buying it. I feel like Maybe she's dating somebody else behind your back. Ooh, scandal. So here I'm saying, I don't believe that excuse. And listen to the pronunciation. I'm not buying it. Because it's such a casual expression, the G at the end of buying is typically not pronounced. Like Americans reduce the G at the end a lot. Sometimes it's subtle and sometimes it's completely. I find that when I use this expression, again, because it's usually a casual context and we typically use this in a friendly way, I'm not buying it. Buying it. Instead of buying it, the buy-in, the N at the end connects to the I in it. So I'm not buying it. And here, I'm not. Before I finish the M, before I separate my lips, I start the N sound for not. I'm not buying it. Instead of I'm not, no air release. I'm not buying it. And even the body language, right? It gets relaxed, it gets like, So this is where you combine what you see, what you hear, what you feel, because it's really about the rhythm as well. Or at least I feel the rhythm when I think about linking and blending, like I'm not buying it. So I'm not buying it. The emphasis is on nah. I'm not buying it. She's lying. Even there, she's lying. Lying instead of lying. And again, this is very casual English. And pay attention to the context. Now that you know that, when do you hear Americans drop the G at the end of words? When you're watching a show or when you're like with Americans, is it when they're in the office in a board meeting? Is it when they're hanging out with a friend? This will help you know when it's appropriate for you to use that same sound, that same pronunciation. So here we have two expressions that we use kind of interchangeably. So we have to go above and beyond or to go the extra mile. And that means to do more than is expected. You know, to go above and beyond. I like to use this one when someone has done something nice for me. Like, oh, you really went above and beyond. Thank you so much. So if someone does a favor for me, but they do more than I expected, this is a really good expression to use. To go the extra mile. Like that one's really good whenever I give professional advice, whether it's submitting a resume or doing a job interview. I always say, you know what, go the extra mile. So that means do more than is expected. I would say to go the extra mile is more about action. To go above and beyond, I use in that context, but I also use it like I did before as to show appreciation, to show that I acknowledge that the person did more than I thought they would or that I would have ever, thought they should. And listen to the reduction of the D and. To go above and beyond. Above and. So the V sound links to the A, above and beyond. Like 99% of the time, Americans drop the D and. And honestly, that really helps you if you've ever tried to repeat what a native speaker says and you realize it just feels off and you can't figure it out. You're like, why does it sound shorter when they say it than I do? It's because you're probably not using reductions. So here, if you said to go above and beyond, like, oh, thank you so much. You went above and beyond. As a native speaker, it just sounds a little off. It's too much of the duh and duh, beyond duh. And I'm exaggerating for effect so you can hear the difference. You went above and beyond. Above and beyond. And think about it. If you look at binomials, which are expressions that are connected with a conjunction such as and, we would have above and beyond. Salt and pepper, right? Near and far. So whenever you hear the and, listen to how native speakers say it and you'll start noticing like, wow, they really don't use the D. And knowing this will help you understand them better. Now you know why it sounds like we are eating almost part of the words, and you can start applying it so that your English sounds more natural. By the way, if you like learning these kinds of things where it goes not only the expression, but also the pronunciation nuances, the intonation tips, check out my courses. I'll put the link below. You did great. Okay, if you haven't already, pause the video and write a sentence in the comment using one or all of the expressions in this video. If you want to learn more American expressions, check out the playlist above or in the video notes. And remember, sharing is caring. So share this with a friend who also loves American English as much as you and I do.